Taking a look at today's equity index futures markets, let's look at the Dow futures today as they're experiencing a move higher here today. We're seeing them up over 2% currently at the top end of the range for today's price action, right around 31,880 is where the price level is in the futures market. And we are seeing the Dow futures outpacing the other major equity index futures markets today. So some of the, I think, factors contributing to this renewed strength here in the equity markets today has to do with some of the carryover from last week. Now, we did see the equity index futures markets go to new lows intraday last Friday, but then rebounding and basically closing unched to just up slightly on the day, depending on what futures market you were looking at last week. And it felt like there's a continuation of that shift in sentiment here today, as we did see some of the areas that had been under some pressure, particularly the banking area and consumer staples, and some of those areas realizing some upside today, and that helped propel the Dow futures, again, more so, I think, than what you did see play out in some of the other areas of the market. But overall, it just felt like, from a short-term perspective, a bit of a sentiment shift, and a little bit some encouraging words, I should say, as well, as far as the prospects moving forward, as looking at interest rates, the possibility of where those might go. There was some Fed speak today, is what I'm basically pointing to. And there was some indication that maybe, later in the year, if we do see supply and demand kind of come into an equilibrium, that the Fed might pause in some of their initiatives. And I think that was another catalyst here why we did see the futures markets and the equity markets realize some upside here today. Now, looking at the general trends today, we are seeing the Dow futures, as I mentioned, the best performer today, but followed closely by the S&P 500 futures. Then the NASDAQ futures and the Russell futures were up about 1.5% today. But across the board, we did see anywhere from basically a 1.5% to a little over 2% move in all the futures markets today, and reestablishing a little bit of some upside after hitting the lows, the yearly lows in the previous session, as well as some of the themes in the market this week. We'll see how they play out, and I think that the market's adjusting for the possibility of those themes as we move through the week.